What is up? What is up, Chomp Nation? Welcome to another edition of the Chompcast live. That's right. We are live for the first time ever on Twitch. Twitch.tv/SwordChomp. Yes, Josh, I see you shaking your head. Technically, it is the first live performance. This is a momentous occasion, and this video will also be going up on YouTube. So if you're joining us to watch the podcast live, thank you. It's going to be a lot of fun. We know that your life is precious. That's right, Shay. You too, Rich. Maybe not you, Josh. So thank you for making our show a part of that. Hopefully we can return the favor by enhancing the grind of life just a little bit. In honor of Hades, we give you those legendary life boons.
Josh quits.
Grabbing something. Don't forget to check out everything we do at swordchomp.com. We got written reviews, podcasts, merchandise, patreon.com/swordchomp.
Sword Chomp the flamethrower.
Sword Chomp the flamethrower.
Kids love that one.
It's the same one that Leonardo DiCaprio uses at the end of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. The very same one.
We've come full circle all the way back to Tarantino.
Yes. Oh, I could talk about Tarantino.
I'm fine just living here now. Like it's bad, but it's
talk about Tarantino all day. That'd be great.
Back to baseline bad.
Is that some sort of hell for you, Rich? Just talking about Tarantino and Jack Snyder all day, or maybe that's Josh. I don't know.
Who's Jack Snyder?
It's the Zack Snyder. He's
the talented brother that none of us actually ever get to see his films.
What Morgan wants is Quentin Tarantino and Zack Snyder to team up rather. So the film is just It's a film up. It's a Wonder.
Just a bunch of gray feet.
No, I was gonna say it's a Wonder Woman movie, but she's not wearing shoes the whole time.
Oh god! Oh my god! That's getting me so hard right now. Stop it! Oh man!
That's what I was afraid of. I hate this.
Oh jeez. Yeah, the idea of a Wonder Woman. Too much, Rich. You got me too excited. Anyways, I don't
like the show anymore.
Seriously though, I just want people.
You know what the good thing is, Rich. Every time Morgan makes these comments, the fans are actually finally going to be able to see all of us roll our eyes.
Yeah, no, it's a new dimension
shake our heads
to the show.
Yeah, and you can't edit out me. You can't edit me out. I won't be silenced.
You can't edit out you.
You would not
believe
the amount of editing of
this just absolute
until
bullshit
Twitch bans us
every week.
And it was important to clarify for everyone that all the times I made jokes about reaching over to grab my frame photo of Tommy Wiseau, it's very real. It's here. It's not a bit. It's right. It's just out of reach.
It's very real. Holy shit.
Nothing is a
bit.
You've had video the whole time, Morgan.
I'm playing it up for the audience. You know, oh wow! Look at that.
Morgan, girl, the whole time.
Anyways, yeah. First
long
live
hair,
podcast
it's a girl.
ever.
Josh, be careful. You might want to cut your hair soon.
I
know. Josh, I love that hair, Josh.
I hate this.
Anyways, she said, I hate this. All right, so let's get to it, guys. Oh no, Josh got his wow. Josh got drunk enough to stick his toes on camera. We have broken new ground. Josh, that's not gonna work.
Yeah. I'm surprised that Josh just did that.
You guys will finally see Josh and I reach for the whiskey live.
Yeah, so much. I don't know if I brought a full enough bottle for this.
I am good to go, my friend.
All right.
You guys will get used to it. I can tell everyone's got a little extra Jack of energy in them today, which is good.
It's an extra 3.
No, you're projecting.
Enough Jack Snyder of energy in them.
Dun, dun.
Call back.
That's when Doomsday comes in.
Oh, I have a question about Doomsday later.
I'm sure you.
All right, so let's get to my soliloquy here. Rewritten by a machine and new technology. And now I understand the problems you can see. I met your children. What did you tell them? Video killed the radio star. Video killed the radio star. Come on, you guys know that song, right? Video killed the radio star. Take it away, Rich. Come on, Shay. I know you know this.
Yeah. One second.
Video killed the radio star.
Sorry, they're calling me.
Wow, big butt cheeks. Room
Nobody
to
sings that
make
song,
the
huh?
dick go in.
Well, it's
No,
a song
no
by the
one-
Buggles. I know you guys aren't familiar with it. It's a classic music. Guess you wouldn't be familiar with a lot of classic music. That's why I'm here, of course. Remind you of the oldies, the hits. We can't rewind. We have gone too far. That's right. What's a podcast but internet radio? And hopefully this will not kill the well, I was going to say D-level internet celebrities that we are, but really
last
like
night and he thought it was so smart. He's like, podcast is radio on the internet.
I've been working on this all day, baby. I was going to say F-level internet celebrities, but that's really not true. More like, what's the very back of the alphabet? Z level. Yeah.
What?
Z level.
Oh my god.
Z level internet celebrity.
Are we doing a video game podcast?
We're like 15
The back
minutes
of the
in.
alphabet.
He's asking questions about the alphabet.
And you know,
We should sing that so he knows which letters at the back.
the Chompcast will still be available for everyone listening.
Hey!
Like normal in its normal audio format, but today will be the first day in history. And I'm sure seeing our faces may kill the magic for you and maybe sing Josh's toes, much like you were able to enjoy all the music. You know how it is when you're listening to a band and you've never seen them before, but then once you see them, it's kind of hard to like erase the visual of them even a little bit when you hear their music. Like, I know the first time I heard Kill Switch Engage, I had a very particular
You see bald dudes whenever you listen to it now.
yeah, now I just see this big, beautiful black man singing every time, no matter what I'm doing. I see Howard Jones singing. I can't get it out of my head.
I guess I get what you're saying. I don't have that problem at all.
Well, I'm glad you're the one person in the world that doesn't have that problem. But for the other 99.9%, I understand what I'm saying.
Your experience is
Hopefully.
not universal.
There might be people out there that have never really seen us. You know, maybe they don't even care to follow us on social media, and this is their first
Oh, to be a
glimpse of our beauties and my bald. Yes, and luckily I am bald because of the whole BAFTA nonsense, which we'll get to here in a second. But the topic of the show is going to be a lot of fun today. Even though video did kill the radio star, it will not kill the Z-level podcast internet celebrities of Sword Chomp as history starts today. And our first topic as we go live is going to be looking back on COVID 1 year later, how COVID has affected our gaming lives. And I think that'll be really interesting to look back on, as we're kind of an interesting transition place with COVID right now, all over the world. We have a highlight review for you, Black Legend, in our pirate-themed RTS that Shay has been taking the bullet for and playing a lot of for us. I guess a bullet's not a good metaphor for a pirate game. He's been taking the...
Pirates have guns, man.
Yeah, that's true.
You're
That's
thinking
true.
of ninjas, who also had guns.
No, ninjas can't have guns.
In the D&D campaigns I write,
It was mostly
guns.
Been drinking the grog.
And the grog. So yeah, it's
Glog?
it's
What's glog?
I don't know, but I'll have some.
he's got the glog. Yeah. Whatever you're catching their scimitar. Is that what they're called? Scimitars? Scimitars?
Pirates
What are the
do
pirates
not
like?
use scimitars. You're thinking of a cutlass?
Yes, it's called the scimitar.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it's called.
Yes, I'm thinking of a cutlass. He's taking the cutlass for it.
I actually have been using the cute lass.
What'd she look like?
I battled the cute lass in Pokemon.
Slender.
I'm glad he
Ooh.
actually pulled up from that nosedive. That was
The red guards have curved swords.
What is the actual word I'm thinking of now?
Curved. It's
Is it
curved
skimmy-
sword.
is
said it.
Curved
You said
sword.
it, scimitar.
Okay.
It's scimitar.
He was
can't believe
thinking of
anyone-
cutlass, which we got to, and scimitar.
It's just hard for me
No,
to
it's-
believe every.
Josh.
Can't do
People
it.
watch this show.
I can't do it.
Hey, but
For this bit to work, we have to tell him off air and get him to say it on air.
No.
It would have worked, Josh. You gotta play along sometimes. Why?
I feel like my video got
What's
dark.
ruining my
Anyway.
fun?
Anyways, yeah, a bunch of fun polls to run through as well that you voted on the @SwordChomp Instagram page, and I have two burning questions about Rich's favorite movie, Batman versus Superman, of course.
I'm so stop texting me about this.
There are no burning questions about that. That's like
no. The only burning question is like, why'd they let him make this?
Quick intro. You've already heard us all talk, but quick intros. A little easier now that some people can see us. But quick intros. Yeah, that's right. Protecting the internet from edgelords everywhere. Rich Meister is here, regaling us from his darkened bedroom. It's darker than normal, and he's letting the sunlight come in to illuminate his face.
It was lighter when we started, so I didn't turn the light off. I didn't turn the light on. And at one point, I'll get up and put the light on.
I do actually have a real question.
You don't have to turn on that red light.
Roxette!
Oh, there we go. I got a bright thing. Oh, that looks nice. I found something bright on my TV that just looks very bright here. So that my Blastoise looks very prominent now. I'm using my TV for a light. So, but yeah, Rich, I do have two real questions for you regarding Batman vs Superman. So let's put a plug in it for now. That's what she said. Shay Layton is joining us from Japan, the one and only professor. You can see him at kind of a distance. He's a different spot than normal. Normally, we see him from a different angle today. I'm sorry, normally we see him at a different angle, but today he's kind of at a distance on his couch, hanging out. How are you doing, Shay?
I'm here for my first episode of Bang Bros. I'm ready. I'm willing.
Start the bang bus and let's get out of here.
If you're on a couch,
I ain't ever getting off. No, I'm
the Bang Bus. Rich, it's
I'm
called
good.
Chitty Chitty
I'm
Bang
good.
Bang, and
No,
you know it.
The name of the film is Titty Titty Bang Bang.
It's Chitty Chitty Gang Bang.
Oh, sounds like a winner.
But no, my morning started off a little bit rough, guys. I wanted to tell you about it really quickly. So I was making my usual 5 eggs with spinach and mushrooms, banana, kiwi, and some toast. And recently, I've been putting butter.
Was that one
butter.
thing?
Yes, butter and peanut butter on my toast. And I bought this really healthy peanut butter that only has 2 ingredients. And as I'm scooping it out of the new jar, it's super sticking together and hard. It's not easy to spread. And
ooh, that's what she's.
I was like, this is why people don't eat healthy, because you can't even make spreadable peanut butter. I was so disappointed. So I just scoop it out and I put a little peanut butter log on my toast, and I had to roll up the toast, eat it like a fucking
a ghost.
Peanut butter quesadilla toast thing.
Yeah.
So disappointed.
You mix the oil back into it, right?
I did mix the oil into it, and it still was all fucking hard and coagulated.
Yeah, it was.
Shay, peanut butter.
I should have used the Skimitars to cut it.
I don't think you should have.
Now I gotta Google that because I don't know if you guys are fucking with me or not. Hold on, I want to Google it.
It's Scimitar.
Oh, it's Scimitar. Okay.
So we can focus on the game.
We explained the bit, and he's still
supposed to be doing. It's Scimitar.
People don't care.
Still confused by the
Scimitar.
bit.
See, now I ruined the bit. Now I'm a piece of shit.
God damn it, Shay! I was trying to get us to talk about games.
Somebody's got to ruin the bit. It's gonna be me.
Last week.
No, I'm here. I'm ready.
Last week, Shay, you couldn't yell at me for not talking about games, so coincidentally, we talked about 0 video games for 2 hours.
I know. Our Discord was telling us all about it.
I hope they were saying good things.
Yeah. Nah, probably not. History will tell you. No.
I'm here to talk about pirates, and I'm here to fuck.
We have a Discord. It's pretty cool. It's an amazing community of chompers, and you can be a part of it simply by going patreon.com/swordchomp. And you can sound off on how good or bad our shows are, and I will try to avoid it so I don't cry myself to sleep every night.
You could do that anyway. It'd be fun.
Your voice will be heard.
Patreon.com for the Discord?
Patreon.com/swordchomp. And you can sign up for our $5 tier that gets you, or is the $3 tier the one that gets you access to the Discord as well?
The $1 tier gets you access
now
to
we're
the
just getting cheap.
Discord.
Well, you are a cheap
No
date.
wonder we're going out of business. Guys, this is the end of Sword Chomp. We're going out of business.
It's the last show. It's the first and last show. Hey.
That would be fucked up. Yeah. Hey, this has been a lot of fun. Also, this is the end, guys. I did say Shay was retiring on the Instagram, so people want to know why. Anyways, thanks for being here, Shay.
I think they know why by now.
I gotta get my Japanese lettering in the shirt. Joshua Fowler joins us from Michigan. That's right, Michigan. I was actually watching this movie this week, Josh, Irresistible, that took place in Michigan. And it had Steve Carell. It was actually a comedy written by Jon Stewart. It was like a political romantic comedy. It took place in Michigan. It was actually like peacefully boring / interesting. Anyways, I just thought of you and I saw Michigan. I was like, oh, seems like a terrible place to live. But I am jealous that you live by a giant lake. You're like you're living. You have a
him living in Montana saying that.
You know, it's weird. People always ask me that, Josh. But yeah, we have a giant river that runs through the Missouri River, runs through where I live in Montana. But the fishing is terrible. It's weird. It's one of those weird things. People don't really quite know why. It's either whether it's too quick moving or the water's a little muddy. The fishing in the actual river is not.
The fish just
great.
avoid Montana.
Just like the people.
That water is super dirty.
Yes, it is. It is unfortunately.
I have the ocean.
Rich, I take offense to that remark because I'm from Montana.
Well, I take offense to that.
Well, you're not there anymore.
He's
are
from
you?
New York.
Yeah, it's
There's
great.
literally zero visibility in any of the water within 100 miles of Rich.
Listen, man, it's swimmable.
That's
I go
true.
to the beach every fucking summer.
It's swimmable.
He only gets glass caught in his skin every other
That's
time.
not
all right?
No, we have very nice beaches.
Is that true? I can't tell if you're being
Yes,
sarcastic or
I'm
not.
being 100% serious.
He comes off the beach. Hey, I only got 5 leeches today.
Mm-hmm.
I did not think when I lived in Mississippi, Josh, remember this. I'm General Mountain Time.
That joke went underappreciated.
Morgan from Montana. Wait, repeat it again, Shay. Your underappreciated joke. Let's hear it again.
No, it's too late. It's too late. I'll just use a scimitar for seppuku later.
Oh God, I'm never gonna hear it.
I was gonna say Sudoku, but then someone was gonna be, "Ooh, it's seppuku." Pray, try and correct me.
It's
and
actually
shit.
pronounced Supanuku.
But yes, I'm Morgan here. I got
Anyway.
finally happy that the world can see this glowing Blastoise. My good friend Fletch got me. One of our patrons and friends. He built this glowing
He
Blastoise
didn't get it
for
for
me.
you. He made it for you. He made it for you.
That's what I just said. Yeah, he built it. Created the whole thing. He was like a steel worker, and it only took 3 or 4 nudes to coerce him into doing it. So
we asked you
thank
to
you.
stop sending those to the patrons because he said he goes, I'll make something for Morgan if he fucking stops.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the first couple, he was like, "This is gross, stop." But then he was like, "I don't know. I feel like something's missing in my life now that you stopped sending them
It's
to me."
better
So
not
just-
awaken anything in me.
Anyways, it's gonna be. I'm excited. We have a good energy today. It's a little crazy. It's a little chaotic, but that's okay. It's our first live show, and that's what it's all about. It's gonna be interesting to see what goes down. And in one day, we are gonna have content in 2 new places: YouTube and live shows on Twitch. Hopefully, if all goes well. So,
But it could.
And again, if you have-
wrong.
and as we go along, we'll probably get better at sort of taking feedback and stuff from the Twitch chat. If it does come in, it's just, we're so used to doing this show the way we've been doing it. We just ask people to have a little patience because it is a little bit of an adjustment. But it's going to be fun to see how that whole process
The hardest
grows.
adjustment is going to be you're going to have to start showing up on time.
I was early today.
Yeah, let's not pretend like that's going to be
I
consistent.
mean, a business, baby. It was an app, but I tell my wife I got to leave even earlier. She was like, "All right, okay, Morgan." I had to trade time. I had to watch the kids for 2 hours of time to leave a little early today. So that's how it works when you have kids, people. Good stuff. But yeah, looking back on COVID a year later. See,
Rich, ain't it great?
Eh,
no, COVID.
No, I'm saying, Rich, ain't it great to not have kids?
Oh, yeah, no, that's fantastic. I'd recommend it to anyone.
Oh, kids are wonderful. Kids are wonderful. It's just you have to make sacrifices.
They are wonderful when they're not mine.
Yeah. It seems like a
Um,
lot of work for a tax write-off.
Yeah, I know, Shay. Every time you send us those stories of you like crying and being very sad whenever you're, partying with your students. It's like very emotional for you as a teacher in Japan. Just like, yeah, it's sort of like having a kid is like that all the time. Like as they like go off to school or do this and that, or you're worried about them. It's just this weird, emotional, stressful bond of love that you're just stuck with forever. So,
yeah, I've had a dog.
Yeah, well, I mean, I love teaching and I love my students, but the great thing is I don't have to be on and hanging out with them 24/7. So like when they're being shitty, I can be like, hey, this teacher, deal with your child that you teach. This is your responsibility. So that's the great thing about that. But no, I mean, yeah, I imagine like being a parent in all seriousness is amazing. The experiences I have had being a teacher here in Japan have been some of the greatest experiences of my life. But I also realize on the flip side of that, I'm getting like the best situations. Like I'm not having to deal with all the low lights of having a child screaming, I don't want to eat it. You ate chicken yesterday. I don't want it. Like I don't have to deal with that, which is nice.
Pretty great.
Yeah. That stuff is my quick take on that is the only thing that stuff has never ever bothered me as far as being a parent. It's just been the you just sacrifice sort of like time and obligations. Like, okay, I have to make sure my kids get to bed at a certain time, right? For example, as a parent, how many people out there can probably relate to this? As soon as your kids go to sleep at night, it's like, oh, I love these kids so much, but it's like suddenly the house is quiet and you have a couple hours to yourself. It's like that old. I always feel weird referencing him after what happened, but it's like that old Louis C.K. joke where he was walking around the car. He put his kids in the car, and then he said his vacation was the walking from one side of the car to the other side of the car. And I never got it. I was like, that doesn't seem that funny. But now that I have kids, I totally get it because it takes like 10 minutes to get them all into the car. You're like buckling their seatbelts and they're squirming around and yelling and stuff. And you close the door and you're like, and you walk around to the other door. It's like a 10-second walk, but the world is just so peaceful.
And then you just, do sex crimes.
I want to give something back to you, Morgan. Like being a bachelor, this is like the ultimate piece that like your kids are wonderful. I've met 2 of the 3 of your kids. I've been in Japan for a while now, so I haven't met your youngest one. Let me impart what you are missing out on. When I come home from work every day, the first thing I do after I take off my shoes is to take off my pants and grab the pair of sweatpants that are sitting right on my washer right next to the entrance of my apartment. And then I just put those on immediately and put the pants either in the dirty clothes or hang them up if they're not too dirty for the next day. And then I just come sit on my couch for like 5 to 10 minutes and just be like, oh yeah, I have nothing to do right now. And it's great. And like, your kids are wonderful. I am so happy you have them, but that's what you miss out on every day. It's just that inner peace of coming home and being like, I don't need pants for the rest of the day. And it's great.
There's nothing like just having a dog to greet you.
Yeah, I have a dog.
Or that.
I have a dog.
That would be even better.
Actually, sad story. My dog is going blind. It developed glaucoma like almost very rapidly, and my dog is blind now.
That is a sad
Couldn't
story.
look at you any longer. It was just like,
I know.
I've had enough. Had enough.
But don't worry, guys. I found a way to circumnavigate the kids thing. It's a real easy, like 15-year plan. So I just wait for a good friend. His wife will die tragically. He will have 3 children, and then we'll have like a full house situation where he needs help. And just like you get the experience that way. It's like I don't have to really be a parent, and I can just kind of split whenever. No liability, shenanigans ensue. If we can get 2 more people in the house and maybe no children, then we got ourselves a Golden Girls situation.
Yeah, maybe you can finally start that puppet show you've always been wanting to.
How many trashy sitcoms are you going to base your dream life around? Golden Girl. What's next? Three's Company? What do you got?
Three's Company would be fun. Shay, do you want to do Three's Company with me?
That would just be you hearing Shay bang different hot ladies.
I want to be Mr. Roper.
I mean, if by Three's Company that means I don't ever have to take care of the child and I just take care of a dog instead.
There's no children in Three's Company.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, there's not.
There's just tandem bicycles and Don Knotts.
and sex. Actually, Shay, that was a great transition for the topic of the show because I'm fortunate enough. COVID did not rock my gaming that much because I'm fortunate that I work part-time jobs from home. So like I wake up in my sweatpants, Shay, and the problem for me is actually getting out of the sweatpants. That's the issue I have. I don't know if you deal with that, Josh, but
yeah, every now and then I'll decide to class it up and take my PJs off and put on sweatpants.
Oh yeah, me too. Or I'll take my dirty PJs off and shower and put new PJs on. My wife loves it.
Mm-hmm.
She loves it when
Can we add that product to the merch store? Can we get sweatpants that say like Chomp on the butt?
they got to be
God,
gray
we need that.
sweatpants because women always tell me they like to see the penis in the gray sweatpants.
Make it happen.
No one tells you that.
No one's told you that. We're
Well,
Like,
yes, not
that's
my
just-
penis, but nice penises.
Peni.
Quality penis.
Pinarum. Yeah.
If you have a quality peanut, you should order it, but I wouldn't.
If you have a
because I
quality
don't.
peni, you may be entitled to legal compensation.
I could. You
If
should
you have a quality
totally do
Peni,
those
then
voices.
please give back the one you stole from whoever you stole it from.
It's only
You
right.
should. You should look for.
You
should look
really
for
only
Latino
need the
garbage.
one.
But yeah, to sort of be succinct here, I do most of my work as part time, and I do a delivery job as well, but it wasn't affected because it was considered essential personnel. So while people I know like Rich were so excited when like Final Fantasy VII remake came out, and he's like, "Oh my god, I get to be home for like a week because of COVID and all," and I know a lot of people like that. I did not experience that at all. So I'm interested to see what
Neither
you
did
guys
I,
have.
man.
Like,
My job never closed.
Yeah, I've been home for
oh, was that just a vacation?
13
you took?
years.
No,
yeah,
I wasn't home. I don't know what you're talking about.
yeah. When Final Fantasy remake first dropped, you were just home for like a
No,
long time.
I wasn't.
Oh,
That was me.
I thought. Well, okay, maybe I have that confused. But I
Oh,
thought
I
for
guess
sure
all white people look the same, huh?
That's
Morgan?
pretty fucked
Is that how
up.
this is?
Wow.
Haven't white people been through enough?
just you two.
Haven't single white straight men been through enough?
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
Shay,
This is fun
you say it's a-
satire.
it really is.
Hearing Morgan speechless was worth that bit right there.
Well, I was reading. Shay left me a comment, and I was like, the chat was saying I was a bit louder than everyone. I was like, yeah, that's great. I want to be like the omnipotent
That's
voice
'cause
of loudness.
It's because you're eating your mic. When we take a break, I'll just lower his volume, everyone.
Yeah, no, it's easy enough.
No, it's not omnipotent. It's impotent.
Yes. Yeah.
You're mixing those two terms up.
No. Nice try.
You keep
Shay.
using that word, but I don't think it means what you think it means.
Yeah.
Nice try, Shay.
Not so omni, a little more semi.
Yeah.
If there's
that's
one
fair.
word I know, it's impotent. Believe me.
My doctor says it all the time.
Actually,
I was just gonna say that.
it's true. It's very true.
Anyways,
Wish you'd stop
No,
telling me
yeah,
about
you
his
were gonna ask
personal
me.
life.
COVID. So, Rich, that was gonna be my transition, but I guess
All right, go
COVID.
ahead.
You know,
Yeah.
you were working the whole time, but you did say, Rich, that it has
No, no.
affected how you socialize.
Yeah, not in like I've still been going to work, so it hasn't affected that. But in terms of like in games have played a role in that, like the effect it kind of has had on my social life, because I have a pretty large group of friends that often like we would do this podcast and I'd go out for drinks like after it, like 1 o'clock in the fucking morning. And now like most of my like social interaction is over like Zoom or something like that, and it ends up being, you know, my friends that play games will be in Discord, just getting together for multiplayer stuff. My friends that don't play games will be like on a Zoom, and even then we'll do like Jackbox via Zoom or something like that. You know, everybody has
God, we need to do a Jackbox stream soon.
we haven't done one in a very
Four
I
of
got
us.
hammered
Yeah,
the
it's
last time we
been-
did that.
What, fall since we did our last one?
Yeah.
About
Dude,
time.
Rich, you should have wore your Jackbox shirt that you bought when we did that stream
I'll
for the first
wear
show.
it for the next one. yeah.
Today.
I have to find. I literally saw it just the other day.
Yes.
I think I was running it through the laundry because I have 2 of them. They sent me 2, but one of them was like a youth small.
Ha!
So if you want, if Josh or Morgan, if you want,
Please wear that one.
if you want one of your children to have a T-shirt that's a drawing of Batman talking about cum.
I was this
small.
close to spitting water all over my mic and computer. I was so fucking close.
You know, that's available to you.
Yeah, Matt, you did draw that.
I'll think about
Always an option.
Yeah.
The delivery on that, Morgan. Oh fuck. Sorry, Rich. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, it's fine. So yeah, like that's just it. I mean, more recently, I'm vaccinated. A bunch of my friends are vaccinated. Like I went out to lunch to actually sit down at a restaurant for the first time in a year and a half, just this past Sunday. But for the past year and a half, like my social interaction has been like Zoom calls and like there was always a degree of my social life that revolved around like my friends that play games, but that's blown up even more so. And I mean, I see coming out the other end of that, but I still see more of that because now even people that are up to like meet up or have a movie night or something, sometimes we're just like, I don't really feel like going anywhere. You want to just like get on Zoom and watch a movie there? Like now now that we know how to do it, like that's become more of an option. I mean, now we're starved for the social interaction, so I have like the past since I've been vaccinated, I've gone out like 2 or 3 times to be a human.
You got vaccinated. It's great. It's great news. Well, I think that's probably something that a lot of people are probably experiencing, just how much it's changed their social lives, which is a big part of, a lot of people who get online they play the same game over and over, whether it's like a Destiny or something like that, because they want to have that social interaction with their friends that they meet up on and talk to every day. So and I don't have any friends in real life here, Rich, so I don't know what that's like.
That's right.
I actually have friends.
Real.
Mm-hmm. You have real friends. All my friends are already at a distance.
No, he means in Montana, Great Falls.
Well, I mean, there's no one else that lives there, right?
No one else lives in Montana. It's just it's Morgan and those 3 bears.
We're driving up to Montana to see the Bonds family.
It's like I Am Legend, where Great Falls is abandoned, and it's Morgan going out, and it's a bunch of mannequins around that he talks to.
Yeah. Well, and it turns out in the end that actually Morgan was the only one that wasn't a human there.
That'd be pretty wild.
It's just me, Tom Hardy, the bear, and Leonardo DiCaprio.
Everyone else just moved to a different county to get away from him.
It's just the Revenant. Yeah. So, but that's interesting to hear, Rich. So you're a very social person that way, which is kind of interesting to me because I don't know what that's like. I met Shay when he lived here, and I've had friends here, but as I've grown older and people have moved away, and I have 3 kids now, and I kind of focus on like Sword Chomp stuff, I literally have no real live human friends in my town. So, it's just the truth. I have no friends here, which sounds sad, but I don't feel sad about it.
I mean, you have a few like that we played music with and stuff like that. It's just you don't talk with them.
Yeah, acquaintances. I would.
And what about that homeless guy you give the quarters to?
Yeah. Well, we're on a first name basis, and I think he gives me a fake name. So
yeah, that's
it is.
I caught a sneak peek of his ID, and he's been fucking lying to me.
He's smart.
Also, he was wearing Jordans last time I saw him, so I don't really think he needs the money.
After he saw what I did to his change jar, he got a little suspicious of me. Shay,
It's not even like a grift. He's just specifically fucking with Morgan.
Yeah, just me. He thought I looked very gullible. I'm like, great, the homeless guy even fucks.
He was like, here comes this fucking idiot. Watch this.
Gullible is a great word. One of those words that really sounds like what it means. Gullible. Anyways, that's irrelevant. And yet so relevant. Shay, how has COVID affected your gaming?
Like Rich said at the beginning of the pandemic, I was playing a lot more games online with people, both here in Japan, real life friends, and people back home as well. I know that we did a few streams, the 4 of us, where we did Jackbox and other various games. I started playing games with more of our patrons and people in the Twitter community. Mm-hmm. And I also started playing games with people here because we couldn't meet up together. We were playing Jackbox games or other various games online. But as time went on, obviously people grew tired of that. Interest kind of waned for a lot of people on that. So when I started playing video games last year, I was actually able to finish games because there was a month where I had off, because that was during the height of the original worry and everything that was from mid-April to the end of May. And so I had a good month to 5 weeks off. So I was able to, when a new game released, like Final Fantasy VII Remake, I was able to sit down and play it from beginning to end and not feel stressed out about it. And that was such a cool feeling, because what we've been doing with Sword Chomp for all these years, I love what we do, but at the same time, it gets frustrating because there are times where I want to finish a game, but these other new games are dropping, and I want to be a part of the conversation with you guys. And there have been times where I'm like, oh, I'm not as interested in this new game, so I'm just going to prioritize games I want to play. But then there were obviously times too where I didn't have time to finish the game that I was just playing because it's time to play the new game. But with the way things have kind of slowed down with the pandemic, games dropping at a more staggered rate, within the past year, I felt like I've had a lot more of an ability to sit down and play a game from beginning to end. And it's really nice because I don't feel like I have this nagging thing at the back, like, hey, you need to finish me. Hey, you need to finish me. I've finished it, and then I can move on comfortably to the next game or next set of games that I want to play. And it's been really incredibly relieving for me, as someone who gets anxiety a lot, and as someone who will constantly think about the games that I haven't finished that I want to at some point. It's been really nice. So, for example, Hades, I finally, was able to finish that, including the epilogue near the beginning of this year. And it's nice because I haven't thought about Hades once in terms of I need to go back and play that game and finish it again, because I've done everything I've wanted to do in that game. And it's a really nice, rewarding feeling, not having to think about that. Whereas something like, and I know you'll like this, Morgan, even there are times where I'm thinking like Red Dead 2, where even though it's not my favorite game, and I really did enjoy that game, despite all the shit we gave you for it over the years, it's something I still think about, man, I need to go back and finish that game. I still need to finish the story. And it's something I still think about from time to time. And I haven't had.
Maybe they'll do a PS5 remaster at some point. That'd be cool.
Well, yeah, if you can ever get if I can ever get a PS5, but no, it's really changed that for me, and it's been in such a positive way that I've been able to start and complete a game. And also one other thing that it's changed for me, and this one's much more succinct, is because of the nature of the way things have been, I've just been like, basically, if I want to get more gaming in, I need to start doing it on my Switch. And so within this past year, I've been just bringing my Switch on to my public commute, like via train. And it's been really nice because I've been able to play certain games like Hades or the game we're going to talk about later, Black Legend, on the train. And I feel like that I can always be making some level of progress. And in the past, I was always really embarrassed to do that. I don't know why. Part of it probably is because I'm a foreigner here. I already get stared at enough as it is, being a foreigner. But within the past year, I was like, look, we're in the middle of a pandemic. I need to keep my mental health where it needs to be. And if me playing a video game on a train for 30 minutes and just zoning out the world is going to do that for me, that's what I'm going to do. And it actually has marginally improved my mental health. Being able to do that and not worry about the sideward glances from people has been really nice. So yeah, I mean, those are probably the two biggest things that it's changed for me.
You know, Shay, you can now actually fully be accepted in Japanese culture because there's a Monster Hunter game, and you can play a Monster Hunter game on the train.
Monster Hunter with me, Shay. Play Monster Hunter.
Play Monster Hunter on a train like 99% of Japan. So there you go. You can
Sweet boy, hunt the monsters with me, Shay.
Yeah. I need to probably take the plunge on that game. I played.
Coming.
What was the last one? Monster Hunter Worlds. I played that one. It was all right.
Yeah, let's play World together. You don't need that new fancy Monster Hunter, Shay.
Get the new one.
Actually,
We're all about
I
Rise
want-
now.
I feel like your schedules would be difficult to. Well, I mean, you can play by yourself and then team up for like bosses you're stuck on. It's a grind game, so like it's one of those games where you're like, okay, I need to beat this boss six times.
You'll fight
to
the
get
same boss 18 times.
Yeah.
It's not
looking
about getting
forward
ahead of
to
somebody. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, Monster Hunter Worlds was fun. The little I played with you and Fish back in the day, but I would never devote time into that game just because it's not my style of game. It isn't. It's fun to play with people, but that's it.
I said the same thing, and then like for whatever reason, one day it just started clicking with me. But I see where you're coming from. I really hope we were going to get a code. That was one of the more heartbreaking emails I got this week, where they said they were not going to give us a code.
That was
we did not meet the code.
I loved when we thought we were getting one because that was my favorite interaction I've ever had with you. And I was like, oh yeah, that'd be dope. And you were like, I'm getting it for me. And I'm like, bro, you didn't even like Monster Hunter.
No, what I said
gonna buy it
was
anyway. I didn't care.
we could divvy out, like, if let's say hypothetically we get that in Resident Evil 8, I was like, which one would you prefer? And you said Resident Evil 8.
Stands if we get Resident Evil 8.
But yeah, I don't have a lot of money, so like it's kind of like a game that I would like to play if someone gave me a code.
Yeah,
but
no,
like
no,
I don't really want.
I 100% get that.
I don't really want to buy it.
I was just being a schmuck.
I mean, that's not true. If I was wealthy, but having the money changes everything. If I
was
had
a rich girl.
Yeah, if I had expendable funds, like it changed your perspective on everything, really, and I don't. But yeah, that's
what
cool,
a crazy
Shay.
thought process. If I had money, things would be different.
It sounds dumb, but like,
Wants to team up and
More money, more
rob
problems.
Jeff Bezos.
Am I right, people watching this free broadcast?
I guess what I'm saying is like there's a lot of those like you're on the fence purchases, and those on the fence purchases become what the hell when you have the money. Like Rich, he's obviously wealthy.
That's true.
They become what the hell for me, and I do not have the money.
I know, that's why I think it's funny. I admire that, Rich. You remind me of like when I used to dig around the house for like quarters and dimes. It's just so I could sneak to the local store without telling my wife, buy a PlayStation Online card worth $25, and then buy a game in secret because I knew that if I used our credit card, she would want to chop my cock off. I see a lot of that, Rich, in you. I see a lot of myself in you.
I mean, I don't sneak around. I just spend
That's
money.
not the same thing, Morgan. Those are opposite things.
I don't hide funds from people, and I just.
You don't, but like if you were married, I could see you maybe going down that path. That's what I'm saying.
I'm not dishonest like that.
It's not dishonest. I didn't lie. I just got it in secret.
It's dishonest.
It's secretive. Remember when we talked about secretive back? Remember we had the big conversation?
You're my little secret squirrel.
Oh, I love it.
Anywho, I think I told you guys this before, but here in Japan, when you get married, on average, not always, how the dynamic works is usually the man is expected to give all of his salary to his wife because she does all the budgeting and stuff, and then she usually gives him like a daily allowance or a weekly allowance.
Oh, I'd fit right in there.
Yeah, that's a 100% real thing. And I was actually talking about it with one of the guys I play basketball with last weekend. He's like, man, they're great until you get married. I was like, what do you mean? And he's like, she's been asking me to put my salary in our joint bank account, and I keep telling her no, and she keeps getting mad at me. And I was like, I'm happy being single right now.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
After that's like, and it's obviously not everybody's like that, and not only women are like that.
No, every situation.
Hearing that
it's cultural there a little bit.
Yeah, every situation's different. Except Japan is a little bit more like if the general population is doing it, we don't want to be the abnormal person. It's much more so that kind of mentality here. But no, it just made me. I was like, oh, thank God I'm not fucking married right now.
Well,
so happy about that. Like after,
Josh has never
stories like that.
Buy anything he wants. So it's just it's every situation.
Yeah,
well,
because Josh is an honest human being.
We have a joint bank account. That means I can't do what I want now. What? No, it means you can still do exactly whatever the fuck you want. Like, don't be a douchebag about it. Like, what? How is that
Well, here's what happened,
Listen, Josh. The salary I make, if I want to go to the soap land and get a handy and not have to explain it to anybody, that's what I'm going to do.
Handy.
Look at his eyes fucking light up. What is wrong?
I don't know why I looked
it's-
at my microphone when I said yes.
No, he literally looks like my dog if I accidentally say food at some
Can we
time when we're not
talk-
feeding the dog.
Can we talk about Gal Gadot's feet again?
No, we can't.
But no, Josh. In all seriousness,
Did I? Thank God.
you know,
Ready? Oh.
here they come! It's coming back. Dun, 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 dun. Let me give you some sexy music.
No, that's all you get. That's all you get. You didn't deserve more than that.
Oh, that's what she said. So
That's
look at it this
exactly
way.
what she said.
What my wife would realize is that I was so devoted to this silly podcast that didn't make that much money that I would spend $60 on every new game, and then I'd play it, and it would maybe not be that great, and I'd talk about how bad it was for 20 minutes on the show, and that was it. That was it. All that money for 20 minutes of content. And she kind of realized that, about half the games you buy and play are not great, and we weren't making a lot of money. So, but I was the idiot who would just do it anyway. So I'm like, content. I got to talk about every new game for Sword Chomp and our 7 followers. So that's what got me in the dog.
Hey, there's more than 7 people in the chat right now.
Yeah.
I don't blame. Yes, we've grown.
Yeah.
We've grown quite a bit. Now 11 people. It's been an amazing 4 years.
Wasn't the complaint Game Pass 5 minutes ago, and you could just not buy the game there? But anyway,
It has nothing
heck,
on.
you could go ahead and
Where were we?
splurge for GameFly. Although it doesn't really help our
Josh.
situation because
Speaking of splurging, how has COVID affected your gaming?
I've played more digital board games. So the video game versions of a lot of board games I used to play all the time because
Tabletop Simulator's a godsend.
Tabletop Simulator is excellent. I've played a ton of Pandemic, which oddly enough, because the game is fairly hard until you've played just, years and years of it.
Mhm.
Steam has this thing where like you can showcase what you want on your profile and I want show just pick whichever ones you want and mine was like the rarest achievements because they're generally the ones that are the hardest that people work for a bunch. Let's show those off. And then after playing a year's worth of board games on Steam, I end up with just a ton of board game achievements for stuff for like Pandemic and whatnot because they're the hard modes of that game that just I'm not going to start on anything less than the hardest mode on that thing at this point because we've been playing that game for decades at this point.
Yeah.
So my entire profile has gotten taken over by these board game achievements that happened like literally as soon as I turned the thing on because I've been playing that thing for decades. Which is weird, but it's been nice. Like it's not exactly the same, because you still get to talk about things and hang out and play a game and whatnot. But I'm kind of a foodie, and just being able to get together with friends and each bring some stuff to eat and hang out and sit there with your different snacks or whatever else you've got going on, some desserts and
Or something like a Zoom call or something like that?
Yeah, just sit down and play a board game is something that I do still miss because it's
Who do you primarily? Are you primarily playing with family, or do you have friends? Who are you? Because you're not playing it with
friends. I've got
with us.
Yeah, I've got a bunch of friends around here that we'd have board game nights every week or two.
Oh, okay, okay.
Get together and do that. So we've been doing a whole lot more, just Zoom and or remote play together type
situation.
Steam board game nights. Which that's kind of
it's a good substitute. I miss the same thing, Josh. I miss that we're gonna get together, everybody's gonna bring a game, bring some food, bring some drinks. That's a good night.
Yeah, and the fun thing about that is with the Zoom call, you know what game you're gonna play. You kind of get together, like, okay, we're gonna play this. I kind of miss the idea of like, 2 or 3 households would, show up, and you don't know what selection of board games they're gonna bring, and you just pick whatever. Yeah, like you pick whatever board game, looks interesting at the time. With a few of you showing up, bringing your collection that you're interested in tonight, and just figuring out what you want to play. You end up playing some weird stuff that way.
I just bought Pandemic Rapid Response so I can never open it because physical board games will never come back.
Oh, sure they will. Don't you worry, Rich.
I think enough people will be interested in what's. Yeah.
Get that vaccination.
That's been the biggest change to my gaming. Is less so with my normal video games, but more so like the board games encroaching on my video gaming.
Yeah, like a different. Yeah, interesting. Interesting. That makes sense. Yeah, I think I agree with everything you guys have said for the most part. Even though I wasn't directly affected, I think I take longer. Like Shay was saying, there hasn't really been. I would guess that AAA development for this year has been affected because the beginning of this year has felt really barren to me as far as AAA games go, which has given me a lot of time to just.
It's gonna get worse. We're not really seeing that yet. The shit that's coming in the back half of 2021 and early 2022 is what you're really gonna see affected by these development cycle delays.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of stuff has already been significantly delayed to the point where. Yeah, like this next year, I think is going to be the one that really shows us, because everything else has been just like polishing stuff up here and there. Well, people have been able to get it out the door.
There are projects that started development in like before this. The thing is going to be trickier is like pitching a game and getting a game off the ground remotely is like such a different idea.
Yeah.
So my understanding from listening to a lot of developers I talk on some various podcasts I enjoy is that most of the games that came out last year were pretty much already done. That's how they got out in the middle of the pandemic.
For the most part, yeah. Like the bulk of the development had been done already. Yeah.
There are some rare exceptions, outliers like Cyberpunk that seemingly will never be done.
Should get on that.
I don't expect them to. But like, it generally took them 4 years to finish their other games, and they weren't remotely as broken.
Still the second best game of last year. Anyways,
no, it's not. It's
hey, got nominated for a bunch of BAFTAs. We can talk about the BAFTAs in a little bit. Growlithe has made an appearance. He must be reading the chat. Somebody must have asked him to do that because it seems very random. God damn it, Shay! I lost my train of thought, motherfucker. Oh, yes, but for a lot of indie developers, they're saying that a lot of indie developers are small studios that were mostly developing remotely anyway, so they probably were not that affected. And they're going to see a lot more of those indie developers thriving, and then it'll probably, and course correct sounds bad. It'll probably change.
I'm actually looking forward to this year because everything AAA is getting pushed, and I'm just going to have so much less of their fucking bullshit to put up with for this year. 2021 is probably going to be a pretty good year for gaming.
I'm looking forward
because
to
the AAA trash is going to be, kicked down the road for a little bit.
Another man's trash is another man's treasure. My treasure, Josh.
Yeah.
But for me, I've been able.
Right?
He's right.
Yeah, that's the saying, isn't it? One man's trash is another man's treasure.
You said, but
it's one man's trash is another man's scimitar.
one man's scimitar is another man's scimitar.
That's what they always say.
I'll give you my scimitar. What was that Dothraki blade called? The really curved.
Got him.
Oh God!
I'll find it.
I don't think JR. He doesn't. He doesn't even care.
I'll figure it out.
One cares.
No, Josh, but for me, it's been
the pure disdain.
I've been playing a lot of nothing. I've been just enjoying going through my games.
Morgan. It's called a bat
very
lift.
Slowly. No. Game of Thrones.
Yes, it is. It's called a bat lift.
Nobody correct. called a batleth.
If we're all real quiet, we can just move on.
It was that big hook thing. I'll find it. It was like a
batleth.
I'll find it. Anyway, to second what you were saying, Josh, I've been playing a lot of nothing. I've been doing a lot of other stuff, and I've been not playing because I'm not as interested in the smaller games. So I'm waiting till Resident Evil and Nier and stuff like that, which it's been a pretty dead couple months. So
it's looking pretty far away. Okay, we can let that pun go away now.
Yeah, that's
Thanks.
probably for the best.
Jeez. Come on, guys. We're live. You can't do that to a brother live. This is not right.
No, it's okay. It's okay. It was a bad
That silence generally gets cut, but
wanting that to happen.
You get to experience the somber silence in real time.
Yeah, no, 15 seconds of silence generally gets trimmed down to 5.
Okay, it's pronounced
format.
Arak.
I knew at some point during this podcast I had to make a pun and then let everybody experience what I go through when I
Arak is a hulking slab of man meat who should star in every movie ever.
Call it Erica or Arak?
No, that's The Rock.
Yes, Dwayne Johnson.
Okay.
So we're in that weird transitional period where the vaccinations are readily available, and we're in that weird point where how many people are going to get vaccinations? How are people approaching it? Where I live in Montana, the mask mandate has completely dropped now, and like I did a delivery to a strip club this week that had been closed since the beginning of the pandemic, so people are already getting genitals rubbed all over their faces.
Montana really looking to ruin everything.
God,
but luckily, hopefully vaccinations will prevent the idiots from ruining it too much.
Yeah, those morons who are already taking their masks off are definitely going to line up for a vaccination.
What's a vaccination?
It's like when they take a bunch of Vaseline and they just rub it all over you.
Some of you guys are going to catch that. My wife says
so
it does sound like
gotcha.
It does sound like Vaseline.
I'll make love to you.
Believe it or not, I've tried using Vaseline. I've tried using Vaseline for masturbation. Don't recommend it.
Hold you tight.
It's fucking petroleum. Why would you try that?
Baby, all through the night I'll make love to you. We're doing a Boyz II Men thing.
My hand with Vaseline. Yeah, I had heard when you were a kid, you should whack off with Vaseline, so I tried it a couple times.
No, you didn't hear that. Someone pranked you, and you fall for it literally 20 years later.
It was the cheap kind. It said petroleum jelly on the front. It didn't have like a fancy
What do you think Vaseline is?
No, I know, but that's how they branded it. They were just like petroleum jelly instead of.
Because that's what Vaseline. It's identical. There's no.
I know. It was not. It wasn't fun. It did not feel great. I did come, I think, but yeah, it wasn't the best. Send your Vaseline stories into swordchomp@gmail.com.
Don't.
Oh, speaking of which, you guys are gonna love this.
I'm
a humorous
terrified of where the speaking of which is going.
If history,
speaking of which,
I put I had people do a caption contest because those caption contests are fun, and it was that famous meme of Gal Gadot biting her lip when Gal Gadot's looking at Christopher Pine in an interview and she's biting her lip and it went viral. So I did a caption contest on the Instagram page, and instead of her biting her lip looking at Christopher Pine, it was me, of course. But I had people caption it to see if we could. There were some good captions, like Troy.
Boy, this is what we've sunk to at the Chompcast.
I'm really
this fucking level of content.
Troy to go said when he starts talking about The Last of Us 2 again, which I thought was pretty funny. Let's see. Dog Rules 23 said this man will give me children, which I liked a lot. That was pretty good. I can hear her saying it in that very specific voice too. Oh, Tawny S said when he brings the Plan B and the Panda Express. That was
there. It is. No, that's a caption.
That's the one.
Pretty great.
That's the winner.
Yep. Got to know there are no consequences to this fucking slumming.
Thank you, Tawny.
That is a good one. I've got a really itchy chin, but I can't quite reach. Huh. That was Jezebel. I didn't really quite get that one. It was a good shock though. Anyway, there was a lot of really funny ones people left on there, so I appreciate people doing that. in honor of our special comic book episode, along with all the great quotes people left from Batman vs Superman.
All the what now?
We'll talk about that later. But yeah, it's been a crazy year looking back on COVID, and hopefully this is the beginning of hopefully in another year we, God willing, won't be talking about COVID at all. That would be nice.
Yeah. Another year and the climate will have destroyed the planet. So, yeah, we've all forgotten about this
When
pandemic.
I moved to the
then.
floating city of New York.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, probably something worse around the horizon, right?
I hope they accept you onto Short Island.
Yeah, no. It's tribal law, so
Yeah, okay.
I'll join Raiders to survive.
Tribal law. A lot. So when I was looking at the release schedule, you had, assuming COVID has affected it, we're starting to get into some games, some bigger games, like much to Josh's dismay, from Nier to Monster Hunter just dropped. Obviously, you have Resident Evil 8 in May, just around the corner. So, some dominoes are starting to fall.
And the biggest AAA game coming out next month, Saga Frontier HD Remaster.
I love the idea that would be considered.
Let me do that again. Saga Frontier HD Remaster.
The triplest of the EA.
I'll try it.
20 years ago.
Triple C.
AAA.
Triple U. No, sorry.
30 years ago. Fuck.
Still trying to get that code.
Yeah.
Saga Frontier would have even been considered triple A.
We round
I don't
up.
think when Saga Frontier came out, it was even triple A. It probably would have been considered.
It was
probably
a Square
like
game.
There was no AAA. Thank fucking God.
Oh, Final Fantasy would have been there.
Yes.
It
No.
was a Square game.
It was not.
If you want to, Saga Frontier.
Are you talking to me? I think he's talking to you, Shay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I was shaking my head.
It was a Square game, but Square had those. They had some weird tiers of second and third tier games. When SquareSoft was churning out a lot of stuff, they had some interesting. Do you don't remember all those weird?
I know what you mean.
Yeah, no, I
Naughty
remember
Dog
the
has been putting
PS3.
some of those second
I
and
remember
third tier
PS3.
games out recently.
No, not the PS3. I'm thinking like PS1.
Everything on the PS3 was tier 3. It kind of everything from Japan at that time when they were like, maybe we should make over-the-shoulder shooters, and then they did for half a decade.
And then that's all they did.
Yeah, there was not. SquareSoft whenever they transitioned to Square.
I hear
to
Gears
Square
of War
Enix.
is a thing. Like, no!
Y'all heard about this?
Fucking
Gears of War?
Japan, stop, please, Japan.
When they transitioned to Square Enix, they had a little bit of a rough go, but they had Square. Okay, this is a good example. Brave Fencer Musashi was not a AAA. Threads of Fate. They had a bunch of
happening.
SquareSoft had a bunch of.
Why we're having this conversation? Like
you don't remember these?
I remember these games.
I don't either.
But like saying they're not AAA isn't like that's. It's just the word wasn't used. They were from like a AAA developer.
Yeah, AAA didn't really show up in the vernacular until late in the GameCube, PS2.
What you're just
era.
saying is like they weren't popular. That's not really the same thing.
I see what you're saying.
Like,
even though I don't necessarily. I see
Companies
your
have
point.
always thrown different amounts of money.
We
at
could
different
probably
projects,
talk about this when the game
but,
releases.
like,
We could talk.
That doesn't
we could
make
probably
a
talk about the
difference.
games that we did actually play now.
Oh, there goes Shay, moving us along again.
Okay.
Let's see. I was actually just thinking that.
When do we need to slip a break in here? Do we normally go through the games first? I can't keep track.
If you guys are you prepared to take a break? You have the little break thing set up for the stream and everything.
I'm always prepared.
Yeah. No, that was during the pre-show, Morgan.
It's up to you.
Showed up
Yeah,
for
Morgan wasn't here for that actually. You guys gotta
Right. He wasn't here.
Yeah.
So do you want to do that then? We'll
It
take.
sounds like Rich wants to
you wanna take-
use the bathroom. That's
Yeah,
his way of
Rich.
telling me I need to use the bathroom.
That's a little rude.
So
for you to call me out. Why don't
let's
we
take a very
why don't
quick bathroom break.
Yeah, we take 5,
And we will
we'll be
return
right
with
back.
more of the Chompcast.
back. All right. Look
Welcome
at that.
back to the Chompcast live. Thank you, Rich. We are going to talk some games now, as we normally do, in case you're joining us for the first time or checking us out for the first time on YouTube. After we go through our topic of the show, we're going to talk some games. So the big highlight this week that we are the most interested in, of course, is Black Legend. Now, Black Legend is a turn-based tactical RPG with a pirate theme. So we thought this would be a perfect game for Shay to, play and kind of do a review for the Chompcast. Now, if you haven't heard of it, it's not like some massive AAA thing. Black Legend, the game, is being developed by Warcade, and they are a smaller developer. And the reviews so far are pretty mixed, but we'll see what Shay Layton has to say about this, because he loves turn-based tactical games, and he loves pirates. So, Shay, tell us about Black Legend.
Excuse me, sorry. I think I'm trying to figure out what I want to say about the game and what I want to put in the review and everything. So what I'll say is you start out the game basically in a very watered down version of a character creation screen. It's very, very watered down. I spent hardly any time in it at all, even less than I normally do, because I'm not, as you guys know, I'm not the biggest fan of character creation, but even less so in this game, just because of the few choices that you have. So that was an interesting kind of concept to me of like, why is this in the game in the first place? But I was like, whatever, fine. I'm not going to let that affect my whole opinion of the game. So you go in, you start off the game and you're getting a little bit of lore, and you're kind of getting the basic problem, which is basically there is this cult that are killing all these townspeople, and they're causing the dead to turn ravenous. Not quite zombies, but something akin to that. And that's kind of the whole premise. And basically you have to help the people of this town stay safe and escape. And so you find this merchant guild area, and you start getting these missions. And you are given 3 other people that work with you, that fight enemies with you. So you go out into the town and you go to various areas. You go to the Commoner District. You go to the Graveyard District. You go to the the Harbor District. You're going to these different districts and rescuing these people and completing these missions. And that's pretty much how the story works. The story is fairly bare bones. There's a lot of lore there because it's kind of based on some true events, loosely. So there is a ton of lore there during this time period. So if you're into this kind of lore, it's really, really interesting. It really is. I found myself learning about things that I didn't know about, and I started Googling a little bit, which was pretty cool. It's starting to teach me about a time period that I don't think a lot of people talk about, which was probably one of the better parts of the game, to be honest with you.
But
the gameplay, which is another big part of it, is you get a max of 4 characters. The character you build, and then 3 other characters. And you can find other characters in the world that join your party. You can choose to swap them out if you want to. Not necessarily you have to. And you're walking around, and it's like a third-person view. And you will see the enemies in the world. And basically there's this like red area that if you walk into that, you initiate battle. Okay. Now you can avoid it sometimes, and sometimes it's sprung upon you. And once that happens, you have a certain area where you can place your characters as like a strategic setup, and then you fight. And it's very turn-based. At the top of the screen, you can see who goes next and initiative. One really cool thing about this game is if you don't use all of your action points, that actually increases the likelihood that your turn comes before the enemy's turn. I was talking with Rich about this a few weeks ago. Not exactly that system, but that kind of system has been done in other video games, such as Final Fantasy X. You can delay enemies' turns, for example. It's been done in lots of styles of games. Just the way it's done in this game was fairly unique to what I've experienced. Not to say nobody's ever done it, just from what I've experienced.
Yeah.
The combat, honestly, it's labeled as a tactics game. It's pretty light on the tactics.
With only 4 units, I would
If I'm
imagine it
being
would have
honest
to
with
be.
you.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Like the low number led to some really tough decisions and like
Into the breach. Yeah, it's a good point.
Yeah. So I think it's possible. It's just you've got to really
Fine tune it for that. Yeah.
fine tune it for it to be.
Yeah, it's not super strategic, to be honest with you. A lot of the battles, I'm almost at the end of the game. I'm almost finished. A lot of it has just been, okay, move to the side or move behind and flank and attack, and then make sure my character's facing the right direction so they don't get flanked or attacked from behind. That's been my strategy
Fantasy
for
Tactics
95% of the game.
Tactics. Just make sure you're facing the right direction when you end turn. Sort of the deal.
That's pretty much
Get that
been
backstab.
the level of tactics. And
Yeah.
Which sounds
that's
like a
been
bad
pretty
thing, but
much
it's really
it.
not. Like that's that can
it's
work
not
fine.
the end of the world. It's a good entry level tactics game. I will say that. I mean, it's good for entry level, is what I should say. I don't know if I really like the battle stuff. There's one boss in there that I encountered way too early in the game. Like, my characters were not ready for it. And the way I was able to spam beat this boss was to move my characters around and throw rocks at this boss from a distance far enough to where the boss couldn't attack us, but close enough to where I could hit it with rocks. And the rocks deal like 8 damage. And the enemy had 1,800 health.
Oh my god.
So I spent 45 minutes throwing rocks at this boss until the boss died because there was no way to avoid this battle. Actually, like, the game, when I got to a certain area, forced me into the battle, and I was like,
Thrust
"What
you
the
into it.
fuck?"
Yeah.
I wonder if you were supposed to die.
Yeah. So that was an interesting experience, just chucking rocks. One of the big things about this game is you can cause status effect damage, like bleeding and poison and so on and so forth. But also, the game encourages you to switch different classes to mix up different things to get attacks. And this is where the game really, really lost me. Because basically you're not really told. You're told one time, and like, they stop the game and let you know, like, change your classes and do different things with it. And then that's it. That's the only information you get about the entire thing. You go into this, it's buried in a bunch of screens, the change in the class. And then when you go in to change your class, you don't understand what the fuck you're doing. Essentially, you find different classes in the world in different, like, you unlock them by finding them in different boxes or being dropped by enemies. And the text is really small, so it's telling you what the enemies do and the attributes that it gives you, but it doesn't really tell you exactly how to unlock all these things. So I would equip certain characters.
That's not
with
for
classes,
you to know.
And they're supposed to have they're supposed to have certain abilities in order to unlock bigger abilities. But then I'd use that character with the new class that I equipped, and it didn't have any abilities. It could only just attack. That's it. And there was no
Weird.
clarification as to why
Is it
this
something-
character. I don't
That's weird.
know. There's no menu screen explaining what the hell you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
There's no button to where you could basically look up the tutorial on what
So
you're
there's
supposed to do. There's just no explanation.
I'm wondering if there's something.
So there's some accessibility
really
issues
bizarre because, like, Final Fantasy Tactics did a thing like that ish, where, like, you'd switch classes and then you'd pick which other class abilities you still wanted. Part of me is wondering if you need to equip the abilities from the class you're in or something.
Like,
weird,
there's a
like that. secondary.
secondary ability slot.
Yeah. Yeah, something. Yeah,
I don't know.
They just didn't
I
explain.
don't know.
But his larger point.
I tried
again,
spending a lot. I tried spending a
Final
lot
Fantasy
of time.
Tactics didn't do that either.
I
'cause
tried
it's, like,
spending a
really
lot of time
early.
in there.
So
Yeah, I tried spending time in the menus to figure it out. I seriously spent probably about a half an hour trying to figure out what the hell was going on, and after a while, I was like, you know what, fuck it. Like,
That's weird.
I don't have the patience for this. Another really big issue I had with the game is there's a merchant guild, and this is kind of like the hub where you get all your missions. You're able to change your characters out, and there are item shops in there. And there's an equipment shop where you buy weapons and armor.
Get your armor
And
here.
going there is no, like, when you highlight what you're going to potentially buy, it shows the money value. It doesn't tell you what the item is. It doesn't tell you the functionality of the weapon. It literally only tells you the cost of the item. And that's it. And I pressed buttons trying to, like, see if it would pull up some, like,
Info box or
explanation.
something, yeah.
There's none.
wow,
That's
really
weird.
So you were blind buying items.
that. I was about to say that doesn't
Humble.
make any sense, but
Huh.
I actually played a game last year that did that, and they tried to make it a whole thing, where a weapon, like, or an item would
Look,
show
blind
up and
bags
go-
are real hot these days, guys.
No,
They're the
it wasn't
opposite of
blind
that.
bags. It was Mortal Shell, where you don't know what the fuck
Hey.
items do until you've used them like 20 times, because
Yeah.
That's
you'll
not
find
true.
out somewhat what it does, and then as you use it each more time, you'll
Yeah,
get more information about what it actually does, and you'll
Oh,
eventually
yes,
unlock
yes.
I don't
everything
know.
that the item does.
Yeah, that's a really cool the way they do it, though.
That seems bad.
Ish.
It's a
It works in some ways and it doesn't work in others. Well, anyway, I don't want to get too much into Mortal Shell, but they do a weird thing with like
Don't get Morgan riled up.
yeah, they do a weird thing with like MMO style respawns for items that drop. So like you'll, okay, I need to come back in 5 minutes and this plant will have respawned.
They're like little timers, cooldowns.
Yeah.
In order to allow you to get through those items.
I don't
and
understand.
things, but anyway, that's weird that you just be able to buy something and have no idea what it does, because that's bizarre. I've not
It's
seen
odd.
anything like that.
It's odd. The menus in this game are kind of not good at all. UI is not great. The graphics are okay. Like, they're serviceable on the Switch. They're going into this game, from my understanding, it's supposed to be like a budget game to purchase, like a budget tactics game. The purpose of this game was to make kind of a cheaper entry level game, because a lot of the games now are dropping for $60 to $70. That this game is supposed to drop for a little bit cheaper, from my understanding. That may have changed since I've last researched it. I don't know. So when I heard that and I took into consideration like the graphics and some of the UI stuff, some of it made sense, some of it was still a little bit frustrating.
Yeah.
The environments very much look the same. Like, it's the same dark, rainy day looking graphics. Like, nothing changes about that.
It's the
Has
third
this, like,
act of a
blue
Pirates of the
hue,
Caribbean
and that
movie.
pretty much. Yeah, it just stays that way pretty much the entire time. The game is a little bit glitchy, as you'd expect at various points, and I had some really big frame rate issues in one particular part of the game. I don't know why that particular part of the game had so much frame rate issues, but it got so bad that my character was like stutter walking. Other than that, I didn't really have any frame rate issues. Overall, I mean, I could talk a lot more about the game, but I'm going to save that for probably my review, where I'll probably go a little bit more extensively than I have now. I would say if it's under $30 and you're really craving a tactics game, you've played every tactics game known to man, you love pirates, sure, pick it up, I guess. I can't in good conscience honestly recommend paying full price for this game. I feel bad because we got a code and the people have been really kind to do that. I'm also going to be honest. This game started becoming a slog. And this is the last thing I'll say about the game before we move on. The thing that made it a slog for me was when you go to another area, obviously you're encountering new enemies, slightly stronger enemies. When you go back to an area, those enemies come back again.
They respawn.
And you might have to go to... Yes, they respawn. And you have to go to maybe literally one part of that district. And you are basically having to fight the same enemies over and over and over again. And in theory, the reason why that is because you're changing those classes and you're gaining experience.
To like give you
but because
to level up the stuff you haven't used yet, I guess.
A place to grind.
But because it's not thoroughly explained enough, or it doesn't give you the ability to look some of that information up, that I just felt like I was just grinding to grind at that point.
Yeah.
And I found myself a lot of times just being like, why the hell am I fighting these same enemies for the 57th time? Yeah. I mean, it's kind of frustrating. And I guess the other thing I didn't really talk about is the music. The music's okay. It's ambient music. It swells when there are big battles happening. When you're kind of walking through the streets, it's a little bit creepy and desolate at the same time. The voice acting is actually pretty good as well. I was surprised by that, actually. That's another really big positive. The voice acting is really good in the game for it being a budget game. But yeah, overall, I'd wait for a sale on this game, as much as it pains me to say that, because we got a code to play that was very nice from the developers. Thank you. I had some fun with the game. That's why I'm saying wait for a sale to pick it up instead of don't get it all together. There is some fun to be had in the game, and if you can understand the class system, I'm sure it's even more fun. As I started getting to use more abilities, as I gained new characters, that's when the game started becoming more fun, when I started being able to use a bunch of abilities. But
it sounds like they just didn't explain the system well enough for you to kind of
pick it up and run with it.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Unfortunately. And I think that the combat is a little bit too samey overall, minus the boss fights. The boss fights are kind of cool, but overall, yeah, buy it on sale if you can pick it up.
Were the bosses like creatures, or just like
fun to be had?
Were they creatures like
Why
squids
would
and stuff? Or
fight preachers?
No.
Well, some were.
I'll get you, man of God.
Like evil. Some of the cultists were like evil, or sorry, some of the bosses were like evil cultists, which just had a ton of health
Preachers.
and had alternate abilities.
Yeah, he was kind of right.
A few of the enemies were actually like these creatures taken over by the fog, which is what turns dead into these semi-creature undead type of things. You do have to fight a few of these huge hulking monstrosities, which was... if I didn't have to throw rocks at it for 45 minutes, would have been really, really cool. But
why didn't? Because you felt like if you would have had,
that's pretty much.
If you felt like if you had not thrown rocks at it and just went up and fought it normally, it would have been too hard. It would have kicked your ass, kind of a thing. Because I imagine you wouldn't be throwing rocks at it and taking the boring way out. Okay,
yeah. No, like the thing was where I was at in the game. I hadn't leveled up my characters enough yet. It was pretty early on in the game, and like my characters were maybe at 200 health, going against an 1800 health boss that wipes your characters out in 1 to 2 hits, and the boss gets 2 hits per turn. So I was like, yeah, I there's no way. So
there was no way.
Yeah, it's not a bad game. It's just like there have been moments during playing the game that I'm like, fuck, I just want this to be over with. And then there are times where I'm like, okay, that's kind of fun. So,
that's still
yeah, I don't know.
I know what you mean.
Well,
it's
not the worst. It's not the worst game I've played, but there are definitely better tactics games out there. I think the pedigree of what they had. I just think obviously it being a budget game, that's very much where it is at. And if you know that going into it, it should be okay. Wait. I gotta get my Growlithe in.
Too late, man. You're here.
Welcome
Okay.
to Chompcast? Yes, that's right. The Chompcast.
I'm Ron Burgundy?
I have been waiting all day for this particular part of the show because I have some burning questions to ask Richmeister about Batman vs. Superman. Also, we have a Patreon poll and Patreon shout out.
Let's try and keep this fucking quick.
I just did a bunch of. I was worried the show was going to be long, so there wasn't a lot of polls this week. It was mostly just some light, fun stuff. If you're checking this out for the first time, every Tuesday on the Sword Chomp Instagram page, we do polls in our story, and if you check those out, you can vote, and we will talk about them on the show. But it was pretty light this week, because, like I said, I was a little worried that we're going to be pressed for time. Luckily, if you listened to our podcast last week where we talked about comic book characters, and it was a fun time, 85% of our audience did know that villain was indeed Clayface.
That's because our audience is cultured, unlike our host.
What?
15% still did think that his name was Mudman.
I feel like those numbers are inflated by Morgan.
Well, there's a lot of votes I can see here.
There's Morgan in all his alternate accounts.
Yeah.
All 70, all my
Mudman 1,
Mudman Stan 69.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, no, I want to do a real social experiment. I don't like to tamper with the social experiment. And I have no vested interest. It was just a fun story about Mudman from my childhood. And yes, a lot of people did send me the real Mudman picture. I am aware of the Mudman.
I Googled it on the show. See, if we were live, I would have pulled that up in my window. I did great.
Yep.
We can do shit like that now.
Yeah, neat. Shay wanted to ask this question. Is it lame to wear gaming merch in your 30s and 40s? It was a resounding no.
It's only lame when Morgan does it.
Well, I put my picture up, and I'm still in the clear. 91% of our audience said it is not lame.
Do you like my shirt, Morgan?
Can you stand up a little? I can't see
No,
it.
I can't. No deal. That's it. That's all there is.
Yeah. Pikachu.
What am I looking?
It's
is it with the mask?
It's
What's the mask?
Pikachu.
Coming up from underneath the lake there.
But it's
to
it's
claim another
Jason?
victim.
It's
Is it
Pikachu
Jason?
with the Jason mask, and then on the side it says "choo choo choo" like the.
Oh, gotcha. That's cute. It's cute. I don't have eaten
Because murder.
murder.
It's funny how you're both wearing Pikachu shirts.
Yeah, I am.
That is funny. I
No,
did notice that.
To be honest with you, the reason why
I love how Morgan's showing
The
us
reason
that,
why
like,
I
we
wanted
couldn't
to-
read the top part because we're all weebs.
These fucking weeps.
Is that what it says? Pikachu at the top?
Yes, it says Pikachu.
Oh.
What
Yes,
the fuck did
yes.
you?
So
Hold
if
on
you-
now.
He
Morgan.
thought it said "cum
You
guzzler."
wore that and you didn't know what it said.
No. Well, there's 3 Pikachu on there. I could have said
Morgan's literally never looked at
It could have said
I'm gonna explain it to
Pikachu's.
I'm going to explain it to you.
It says sleepy.
Oh, God.
This is the second time I've explained it to you, Morgan, because I remembered I explained it to you before. But if you look from the left part of your shirt, that's katakana for Pete. That's chi, but because of the letter U right there, it's under, it makes it chu. And then there's the other U right there, so Pikachu.
Yeah,
We're fucking with you.
small-
It says
There's a
slut.
weird one. Like if they have a small letter, it's because it's modifying the one before it. So the chi turns into chew.
I got to be honest
So
with you guys.
it's Pikachu.
I'm trying to understand, but it's almost like you're speaking a foreign language. So.
That's a
Yeah,
bad.
yeah,
That's
I
We'll let you have that. I'm jerking off 1,000 angels.
want to get a sound clip, but now that's gonna haunt me forever. All right, so you cut that out, you crazy kids.
Get off my lawn.
Anyways, as I wanted to say, no, the reason why I wanted this poll to go up is because I think around October last year I needed some new boxers, so I went to H&M here because it's one of the only places that has my size, and I was buying some boxers.
Extra small.
And that's right.
Tight.
And Josh, you got me. God damn it. Josh said I love it when my poll goes up. No, I saw some boxers there. I saw some Rick and Morty boxers and I saw some Nintendo boxers, and I was like, hell fucking yeah, I'm gonna buy those. And then recently, like when I was going to school, I was like, I'm a 31-year-old man that's wearing around Rick and Morty boxers.
You
Am
know,
I
I
fucking
think the
lame
poll
right now?
results would have been literally the opposite had you specified boxers. Because, like, showing off a thing you really like on
They're
your
boxer.
shirt-
They're boxer briefs. They're boxer briefs.
Okay, but like, but still, like showing off a thing that you're passionate about on your shirt. Like, okay, I'm not ashamed that I like this really cool thing that I'm super into. Is one
Hiding
thing. Hiding it on your ass is the opposite of that.
No,
thing.
that's why I was like, what the fuck am I doing? 31-year-old man having Rick's face plastered all over my boxer briefs, so the curvature of my penis has. A
Check it out, babe. I'm Pickle Rick.
I would think that'd be the opposite effect. Because if I was, let's say I was taking someone back to Bump Up Uglies and they had a nice like work outfit on, and as I was pulling it off, I noticed they had like a Rick and Morty.
Did you say bump up? Are you doing coke or
Bump
are you
ugly.
fucking?
No,
you said bump up and then you said bump uglies.
Bump. We're bumping the uglies out. We're doing coke and then we bump. I would if she had a Rick and Morty underwear, I would be turned on.
You
I'd be
send
like,
that home.
To be fair, Morgan's really turned on by Justin Roiland.
I would be like, man, this thing's cool.
Like, he tells me that all the time. He's like, Justin Roiland really gets me going. And I'm like, I don't know, man. He seems like a cool guy.
I do think
Like,
Josh is on-
Ain't
I do
nothing
think
get me
that
going like that lemon head.
no, Lemonade drives me crazy.
I think the only exception. I think the only exception, if like I had bought boxer briefs and I had the Mr. Meeseeks box right where the genitals are, then that would have been acceptable.
Yeah, I think Josh is onto a little something though with like the
Show
shame
me on
aspects
this
of it.
orange where the genitals are.
Yeah, I don't think you should be ashamed about that.
The
stuff,
navel. It's the navel, Rich.
Oh, okay.
but-
Thanks.
And there was no.
Yeah, don't shame me.
For what it's worth, I looked at all the people that said no, even though it was a very small percentage. None of them were, all men. Probably all men that are worried about being self-conscious. Maybe.
I only
Who knows?
buy my boxers from TommyWiseau.com. Wiseau brand boxers. That you think that's not real? Look into it. It's real.
Don't be ashamed, Shay. Don't be ashamed. I wanna
Not a
see-
sponsor, by the way.
No, but I bet he could
I
be
do
if we
wanna-
asked.
I do want to see those Rick and Morty boxers now. So maybe you can take a picture of yourself.
Just want you to take your fucking pants off.
For the VIP Instagram page. Yeah, take those
If I
pants
ask you.
off.
Sorry, Twitch.
No,
TOS, here we go.
we'll be donezo.
Well, I'm looking forward to this HI report. I have to fucking file that.
Jokes on you. I'm
Josh
human
being the HR
resources.
Here's the. I'm glad that was a resounding. No. Let's see. Our audience was definitely split on Batman vs Superman, right down the middle. Love a good contradiction there, or I love a good split, 50-50 split. Not a good fan of the banana split, so I can't say I love all splits.
Really?
Yeah, I don't like the banana split. No.
Really?
Splits are hot, but not.
Rich.
Are they?
Not
Rich.
the banana.
Gilbeezy said, number one, thanks for adding Tommy Wiseau boxers to my search history. Number two, oh my god, it's real.
Yeah, it's fucking real. I don't want bullshit about that.
All right. Hopefully we get a spicy clip for the social media, Rich. So this Batman vs Superman thing, I have two vital questions. Okay, for our Superman expert.
I don't think
and
you know what vital means.
Zack Snyder hater. First of all, yes. Do I love Zack Snyder?
Human.
Generally?
I don't hate.
It's pronounced human.
Hey, I don't hate Zack Snyder. I hate his work. He seems nice.
That's a fair distinction.
Yeah.
Disappointed that you had to make that. I wanted to.
Yeah,
sort of
that'd be
paint
like
you as-
hating your grandma just because she knit you one more vest.
It's
For
like
this- you don't hate your grandma.
no,
for knitting you
nobody
another vest.
wanted this.
Why
Like
would you?
she's trying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't,
I don't
hate
hate
your
my-
grandma for doing that to you. You just think
You hate her for what she did to
why-
Superman.
Why not socks or mittens or something I'd use? But another vest?
Or
Like,
Rick and Morty boxer briefs. Come on, Grandma.
You don't. I don't hate myself.
I
just 'cause
made
my
you
brain-
Justin Roiland boxer briefs, Sonny.
What a grandma.
The thought of
she's
knitted
shaking it.
briefs.
I made you these Mr. Meeseeks
They're-
boxer
They're
briefs.
crocheted
Here you
boxers. These are so impractical.
Grandma, my dick itches more than usual. That's okay, honey.
It's
That's the
100% wool.
Whoa, good God. Jesus.
There might be some cat hair in there from old Lucky.
Whoa. Oh, man. That's a jerk. Yeah, no, it's like you wouldn't hate me for wanting the Gal Gadot foot fetish. You'd hate my brain. You know, I'm just a conduit for my brain.
I think in this case, I'll make an exception.
I think it can overcome.
I hate you.
Anyways, so I had two big questions. So I don't think the movie is great, but
Sure.
I do think it's good. I did like it.
It's bad, but go on.
I'm not on the bad side, but I did have some questions. I think the first half is really strong. A lot of great quotes that we could read later if you'd like.
I prefer we didn't.
The exception. Can't even say it without laughing. The exceptional writing. I think there is some great lines. You got to admit. Like,
no, I do not.
But,
Yeah, just top tier writing. Like the
That's
jar of
right.
pee.
That's right, Superman. Guns are for cowards. All my cars are cowards.
okay, taken straight from the Instagram page, the Natural 87 said, "If God is all powerful, he cannot be all good. If God is all good, he cannot be all power."
That's literally fucking nonsense. That doesn't mean anything.
You just
No,
think
it
it
just-
sounds profound.
Yeah, that
yes, but
literally
also-
means nothing.
It's the idea that to be truly all powerful, you
I don't need you to explain it. But
like we understand.
the message of Superman is
but
supposed
it
to
makes no goddamn
but-
sense.
the message of Superman is supposed to be the exact opposite. Like he has all this
Yeah.
power, but despite that, he's good.
Well,
Yeah.
there's no
Like
message of
literally, the
Superman.
point of Superman is
there
that
is.
that quote is goddamn nonsense.
I did have a tweet that was the biggest post we've had in a long time, where I said that Zack Snyder was born to direct comic book films. I thought Rich would be happy about that. Did really well. Just no, you gotta admit though, Rich, people are hot on that Justice League. It has like a 90.
They are, and the reason they're like so hot on it, and again, because I don't want to poo-poo
It's because
anything,
of the first one.
is because the first one was so bad that like that's just the thing. Like if this had been the original, I wouldn't have walked out being like that was a good movie. Like it would have been fine.
Yeah.
It's so much. Like that's the thing, and I will give it is so much better than the original cut. Like it is so much better. But
yeah.
like overall, it's like it's a fucking one that should have been two movies.
Literally every other film is better than the first cut.
Yeah, that's not high praise. I mean,
Yeah,
No,
being
yeah.
better than the first cut is like imagine saying this is worse than the first cut. Like that's why it's got such a high score by comparison to the original, which was a fucking train wreck.
And it pulls you into like I hate doing the Marvel DC comparison, but like not in terms of tone. We don't even need to discuss that. In terms of like I wish DC had just hunkered down and did what Marvel did and took the time to do fucking 10 movies before they did something like do 5 movies before they did something like this. And
This is like their second one. They're like, oh, we're gonna do the big one as the second film.
like
in the
think
series.
this happened. There hasn't even
You're
been.
kinda
Ben Affleck never had a solo Batman movie. It never happened. That's insane.
There was a solo Superman movie.
So you're saying
and
kind of
then
like
this.
what Marvel did.
Yeah. I'm saying that pacing.
You're saying like what Marvel did. Like they built up to what they were trying
Yes.
to do,
Yeah.
with the first 2 movies.
and because
If
of that,
Civil War were the
Okay.
first Marvel movie, it'd be completely fucking incomprehensible.
yeah.
yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, for me, who wasn't super familiar with all that, it was.
And I'm not even a big Civil War fan, but the only reason it works is because of the context
You
of
need
the
that.
other,
I
72 hours of media.
Yes.
they have
it's reliant
associated
on
with
it. Yeah. And I like Civil War a lot. I'm of the camp of people who go, it's weird that Civil War is a Captain America movie because it's 100% an Avengers movie.
That's my point. I had seen none of those movies, and that's,
that's-
why I was so impressed with Justice League, because even though they had to do a little origin story on Cyborg and the Flash, as someone who wasn't familiar with any of those crappy movies except seeing Wonder
They had
Woman,
to do that because there wasn't anything there before, and the reason the first one was so dog shit is because they didn't.
They
They
didn't
were just
bother
like-
to.
Yeah, they didn't
Well,
bother
that's
to.
what I'm
They just
saying,
like
so,
pulled these characters in from absolutely nowhere.
And for the record, you know what? And they still had to bother to do this in Batman v Superman, and this is what bothers me. I remember going into that theater and thinking, if I have to watch Batman or Peter Parker's origin story, if I have to watch Uncle Ben or the Thomas and Martha Wayne get shot one more time, I'm gonna take myself
more
out.
Fucking time, yeah.
They had such a cool sequence with the gun and the pearls at the beginning of Batman vs.
That's
Superman.
a really old sequence taken from a million other Batman things.
He did it so artistically beautiful. It was great.
No, I think they did it better in like a million other Batman films than this. But still, hey.
Okay, hey.
No,
stuff.
Hey.
Isn't it weird? Isn't it weird that both their moms are named Martha?
Yeah,
How do you?
I was gonna ask.
Oh my god, it's so fucking stupid.
Is that real?
Yes, it's real. But it's so dumb. How do you know that?
It's not just real. It's the whole fucking hook of the original Batman versus Superman. Like,
the comic.
That's the whole hook. That's what. Like, the entire thing leads up to one line, and that's it.
Well, no, that's my first question for Rich, actually, is my first problem I had with the movie is that Batman went from, like, this, he had this amazing scene where he's just kicking Superman's ass, and then suddenly he's like, Martha! And then Batman's like, oh,
yeah,
my mom's
it's
name.
incredibly stupid.
Yeah, that's why. That's why he finally changes his mind.
If I was
that he says Martha.
If I was beating the shit out of an alien and he said my mom's name, you know what would change? Nothing.
Mm-hmm. Wait, but wow, that's weird that Martha is an alien name as well.
It's weird that he said a white lady's name.
Mm-hmm.
That's bonkers.
In the actual lore comics or whatever, that's the case, right? They're both named Martha.
Yeah. But like, it's not a point of consequence because it's meaningless.
But like, the entire thing builds up to that one line.
I thought that was dumb too. My understanding is
I'm glad you agree with that, at least, because it's so stupid.
Thank you. I'm glad. Yes. Like, if you enjoy the rest of it, I'm fine with it. But as long as you understand that the whole both our moms are named Martha thing,
so we should be friends now.
Nonsense.
I'm sure
we're fine.
I'm sure what they're going for was the whole, oh, you are a human after all. You have a mom just like I do, and they're both named. I bet that's what they were going for, but it was very abrupt. Was not a fan.
The word you're looking for is dumb.
The other thing I did not quite understand is why Lex Luthor, yes, he released Doomsday onto the world, right? But it didn't really make sense because if it succeeded, everyone would have just died, including Lex Luthor. So
they're just trying to make this version of Lex Luthor like a literal insane person, which I'm not a fan of, because
like Joker.
Like, yeah, it's very
almost
like not quite there, but like kind of. You're right. Like, I like the cold, like the Lex Luthor who is so cold and calculated and like sinister under the surface that he's able to become the president of the United States. Like, those are the Lex Luthor stories that are interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was funny that within 30 seconds he walked into that crashed spaceship and he figured out how to like turn it on and operate it, and I was like, okay, this is a little much for me.
In the extended cut, he talks to an alien.
I'm more fine with, because again, like that's the Lex Luthor that is kind of has been.
But the way they show it, he's
for
his hand around. He's like,
decades.
What if I just sticking my hand on this? Ooch! I'm operating.
I don't know if you watched the extended cut, but I think that whole sequence is a lot longer. Okay, then it must be even less interesting in the extended cut.
It didn't wow me, but I will say that like if his general intentions were to do things that benefited him, even if he wanted to kill Superman, that Doomsday person, if it had succeeded, it would have killed everyone. So I just don't understand how it would have been beneficial for him to. I
think his thought was that, I'll get this other guy to kill Superman, and then eventually I can kill him because I'm.
It's like
with the kryptonite that Batman stole from me or something.
It's like
that's the idea. Like, I think that's the thought process going through it, but.
If we're going comics,
good plan.
No, not at all. And if we're going by the comics, like that's not quite how Doomsday works. Like the whole point of Doomsday is like he's this unstoppable soldier. Like he dies and is reborn immune to the thing that killed him.
Oh, okay. Yeah, like those are the two things that kind of soured me on like was otherwise.
Those are two big points worth being soured on. But the one thing we can all agree on, and this speaks for the Justice League and Batman meets Superman, that Wonder Woman theme music fucking slaps.
Well, a lot of people don't know this, but the Junkie XL guy goes by a very generic sounding name who does the score with Hans Zimmer. The people know Hans Zimmer, and he does a lot of.
Oh, Junkie XL does it?
Yeah. With Hans Zimmer.
Junkie XL is awesome.
Yeah, it's a combination thing with Hans Zimmer and this. And yeah, the music is.
It's a good score. Really good. Yeah, no one's gonna argue that.
I was just saying, they really stuck out to me like right from the beginning. Being like, wow, this music is great. But yeah, I agree. Those two things are like it's Batman versus Superman. The thing I was looking for was okay, why do they eventually come together at the end and team up? And it all hinged on that scene where he was like hell bent on killing him, and just saying Martha turned everything around. I was like, no.
Yeah, it's really dumb. Because they couldn't come up with a reason when these two guys didn't know each other.
Like literally, one has all the power in the entire world, and the other one has to work for it, and they somehow couldn't figure out a reason why they would be at odds. Like, fucking a 2-year-old could come up with a reason why they would not like each other, and they don't fucking do it in the movie. Like, it's a joke. Like,
I would say the first half,
Josh, there's no reason that they dislike each other, given the framing of everything in the movie, and then the reason that they stop disliking each other is because their moms are both named Martha. Like, it is literally the dumbest. Like, just the premise on its face is a fucking nightmare.
Well, I agree with you on the Martha thing, but if you think about that scene where they shake hands and he doesn't know he's speaking to Superman, he's speaking to Clark Kent, and they both kind of trade jabs about.
Well, that just proves that the world's greatest detective is apparently a fucking moron.
I'm just saying, like I thought they
somehow couldn't figure out who Clark Kent was. This unbelievably goddamn jack reporter.
That's the thing. I think everyone treats him like shit.
Who doesn't wear a mask or anything. Like
he just does this with his hair, and
takes off the glasses, and somehow no one notices.
There's a degree of like suspension of disbelief with the whole Clark Kent Superman thing, because like I think I mentioned this before. Like when you talk about like the Superman run on like American Alien, where they're like, oh, so you like never take off your glasses in Metropolis? And he's like, yeah, I do that all the time. And you know what people say? You look a lot like Superman. Like, people don't give it a second thought, but like Bruce Wayne is the world's greatest detective. Like, he would have fucking put 2 and 2 together. And you know what? That would have been way more interesting if that's what turned him around on it. That he found out Clark Kent was Superman on his own and was like, this guy's been living a life for years and has
been doing outside of the role. That's a much more interesting vector to take the thing towards. Like, okay, all right, what have you been doing to change the world when you're not being a superhero? And seeing what
the same
does.
way
That's really a cool idea.
Same way he figured out Diana Prince was Wonder Woman.
Yeah, exactly. Like take what the character is, and actually make that part of the story. And like,
you know what's impressive
though?
Like
a stupid lore detail that their moms are both named Martha. Like, that means absolutely nothing, but that somehow the entire plot turns on it.
No, I agree with that. I was disappointed with that, but I thought they did a good job in the first half. But I will say this, and then we can move on. They did a good job of they had not just Wonder Woman, but, and I don't know if it's the extended cut version, but they had like they were showing the cyborg character in there, and like just watching Batman vs Superman, it felt like there was a lot of links to the big Justice League movie I just watched.
Yeah,
I didn't know all
that.
It's
100% a setup. Like and this is a scene that I actually liked in the new Justice League that wasn't in the original cut of it, is in that opening where they showed Doomsday killing Superman, and they show that him screaming when he was murdered is what woke up the mother boxes. Like, in the original cut, it's just like, all right, Steppenwolf's here, and he's going for the mother boxes.
Oh, yeah, that's yeah. If you, as someone who just watched the Snyder cut without seeing the first one, and just watched the extended cut of Batman vs Superman, I feel like there was a nice congruency of those, if that's the right word, of those two melding together.
There's an easy through line.
Yeah, like there is a through line there that, again, Zack Snyder was going for. Like,
he didn't get to follow through on that.
He didn't get to follow through on it, but again, I'm not a big fan of that, but it's a much better resolution than the absolutely nothing that was there before.
Its biggest like plus is that it's coherent, and that original Justice League movie was an incoherent mess that was clearly like just botched together.
Zack Snyder.
A lot of the DC stuff has been that way. They're like,
I am excited for James Gunn's
We know
Suicide
what
Squad.
director we want for this, and then halfway through, we're gonna be like, oh no, we think we're over budget, and we've got to fuck absolutely every last ounce of life that still exists in this property out of existence.
I would guess
they do that with Superman. They do that with the Suicide Squad. With like that thing was edited down to absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Of like it's just a mess. It's like
Hashtag release the Ire cut.
All those films are literally just like the worst of what corporate filmmaking can do.
Yeah.
I can't quite go down that road with you, but we'll respectfully disagree. I did stumble across those.
When the future corpos kill your family, I'm sure you'll change your tune.
Look, Sylvester Stallone is King Shark, and I stumbled across that today.
No, he is not.
What?
What the fuck are you talking about?
And the new one?
Steve Agee is King Shark.
Who's what?
I don't think
I'm
so.
confused now. I wanna see this world in which Sylvester Stallone is King
God.
Shark, but I don't think that's a thing.
You're incorrect.
I'm worried that if I'm not right.
Yeah, Steve Agee is King Shark. I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. And in the Harley Quinn cartoon, Ron Funches is King Shark, and that's the only one that matters.
That's the best one. That's the best one, but I don't think we're ever gonna get that in, like a full fledged DC thing.
It's I was right. Sylvester Stallone right here, the Suicide Squad.
He might
be Shark.
He might be the body guy. Steve Agee is the voice of King Shark.
The Suicide Squad. My character I play in the new Suicide Squad film is the Shark. What the hell? Now I gotta know.
You mean the new one? Not
the new one is Steve Agee.
Suicide Squad, but Suicide Squad, the new one.
The Suicide Squad is the new one.
Is the new one? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's look into it because now
I already did. I'm telling. He might be the body guy for it.
Rich, just that. Why would they need a body guy for a fucking CGI shark? That's so.
Because
weird.
someone needs to stand in. Do you think they just talk to no one?
Doesn't come from nowhere. There's got to be an actor for the capture.
Well, yeah, but that seems like an expensive fill-in for that. Let's find it. We'll find out, and we'll get back to you, Chomp Nation. Maybe by the end of the show.
Sounds like he is the voice in the new one. That's weird.
Oh, come on, Rich, get up to your boy.
I'm busy. Hang on, keep going.
Okay. Shay has speaking of our patrons, Shay has a poll you wanted to go through to talk.
That's decent casting.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Shay did a Patreon exclusive poll, patreon.com/swordchomp, as well as we're gonna do some Patreon shout outs to thank all those that want to support us. So what was the poll that you had up this week at the Patreon page, Shay?
I think
we can't hear you.
Oh no! Our first live kerfluffle. Shay has been muted.
Kerfluffle, you still haven't corrected that pattern of speech.
Kerfluffle, a curve waffle.
No, I did a poll on Patreon seeing what the most boring conversation in Sword Chomp history was, and this last conversation came up as number one.
That's
no,
I'm
just kidding. But no, the poll was
harsh. Gee.
It was a good. Anyways, the poll was: do you see yourself gaming within the next 10 years? If so, what games do you think you'll be playing or hope that you end up playing? If not, why not? The choices were oh yeah or hell no, and our patrons unanimously voted oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna read a few quick comments.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm gonna read a few quick comments. I'll go as quick as I can. Tawny said, as long as I draw breath, I can't see myself not playing games. He's pretty sure that he's going to be playing Nintendo games until the day he dies. Like Shin Megami and Persona. Justin Ruiz said probably part...
I'd like for those.
You wrote this, not me. I know what it's. I know what it is, but I'm reading what it says.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Shin Megami. I know it's Megami.
No, that's right.
I know. Anyways, thanks for interrupting with your rudeness.
You're welcome.
Anyways, Justin said probably part 3 of Final Fantasy VII Remake. Eric said, I don't want to live in a future where gaming won't be one of my hobbies. He said PlayStation and Nintendo games. Gil Beasy said, video games are my favorite storytelling medium, and I only see that aspect of gaming growing deeper over the next 10 years. There was a time when TV was seen as nonsense for kids, and now everyone watches shows, and it's grown into a mature and respected storytelling platform. As more people are born and grow up with video games, it won't seem weird for older and older people to keep playing them. Also, in 10 years, if I have kids, I think games will be a great way to spend quality time with them. Even if that's the only gaming I have time for, that will still be an important aspect of my life.
Have I been pronouncing?
And the last comment
the
is from
time? Is it Gilbezy? Is
Yeah.
that
Yeah, you know it.
okay? God, I've been fucking that up this whole time. I feel like such an ass.
You should.
Good. And Joshua Lawson is the last comment. Said, God, I hope so. Games are my main hobby. I love everything about them. As for what I'll be playing, probably some new JRPG at the same time I'm replaying some game from the SNES PS1 era for the 100th time.
Yeah.
And there you have it. That was the Patreon poll of the week.
Joshua, I love you. Come on, get out of the past. Actually, no. The PS1 is the best era. I could live in the PS1 era forever.
Really?
And probably be happy. I think I could.
I don't know. I feel like I'd go for PS2 just for
the library is so
the
vast.
library is ridiculously large.
It's the largest library of any
probably aren't
console.
quite in the same spot, but I feel like just the general quality level and like just the amount is there for the PS2.
Yeah,
I see what you're saying, but I just feel like there was a level of inspiration on the PS1 that was like where games were as far as
like the first foray into 3D was really cool, and a lot of dumb mistakes were made, but a lot of really cool ideas were tested.
Like no one stops Mr. Domino. I mean, come on,
Pepsi Man.
There's merit in that as far as like let's see what we can possibly do with this new 3D.
Yeah, we got Suikoden and Pepsi Man. What more do we need?
Mm-hmm.
Even the B tier games would come with like 3 discs. It was exciting.
Again, that was mostly because they were on CD. But
I know, but that's kind of cool though. Like just the ridiculousness of it was neat.
Yeah,
I love Waste too.
I think if I had to go for a gen, I'd go for the PS2 era. But
that's interesting. Interesting, yeah.
Again, not because of the height of the quality, but just because there's just way more weird shit going on there. Because you got stuff like the Katamari's.
I'd agree with Morgan. PS1.
You get a bunch of really weird stuff as well, with people kind of experimenting of where this whole medium can go. Because like PS2,
Sega Saturn, it is
Katamari Damacy and Shadow of the Colossus as different takes on where this whole thing can be heading.
But look, you have to give up Shay's Beloved Saga Frontier, Final Fantasy VIII, Vagrant Story. Do you want to live without Vagrant Story?
Yeah,
Why do you?
I'll have to rough it out with Final Fantasy X and 12.
Well, I can.
12?
Final
Yeah,
Fantasy
I'm changing
X's a
teams.
great game.
That was the worst version of 12 though. That was the frustrating one. So
was it?
And
you're stuck with one gen. It may as well take you.
It doesn't matter which version it is.
I would be hard to lose that one, Josh.
Is there a version without Vaughn? That's the version I want.
No, there's really not. So you may as well play the original.
I need to do I need to do one of my phone calls again to Neil Druckmann where I'm like, yeah, Rich, he wants Last of Us 3 to have turn-based battle system. That's his request. The turn-based combat. Otherwise, he's going to be real pissed and give you an 8.
It might be a good game at that point.
It has like an active time battle gauge.
It sounds great.
Yeah.
He's getting hard
awesome.
just thinking about it.
Sounds fucking rad.
Let's do the shout out.
I'm just going to start doing phone calls to Nomura and be like, I tried talking to Morgan about this. He just doesn't get it.
Tell him to stick to movies.
Shout out.
Shout
A
outs.
shout out.
Shit outs. Take it away, more. Take it away, Shay. I'm having a
Were
stroke.
those words?
Shit outs.
Who knows?
Shout outs. All right. This is the part of the show
Shut out.
where we say thank you to the patrons who supported us within the past month and beyond that. This is the part of the show where we like to give thanks to those people. Usually I do them kind of silly and write them out in a funny way because we are doing this live and live streaming it. I kind of wanted to keep it minimal to make sure that there was nothing like fucky or weird, especially with lag and stuff like that. I didn't want anything messed up, so I kept it very, very short and simple this month. But if this live streaming thing becomes a regular kind of thing, then I will start my extravagant funny ones next month. But
more on
Josh,
that
I was gonna
later.
say short and simple title of my sex tape. But anyways, so I want to give the biggest shout out in the world to Mr. Danny P. He's at the $50 all but the hilt tier. Thank you so much for the continued support of what you do for us. Bernadette, John, J Holbro, Lisa, and the Rev, thank you for your $10, some extra on the side tier donations to us. That makes so much, like, that allows us to do so much. Thank
Keeping
you
the
so
lights
much
on.
for that. Yeah, for sure. Brian Potiti, Corn Space, Eric Serrato, Gil Beasy. Eric Serrato, by the way, is a new member. Gil Beasy coming back to us. Ivan, Josh McMullen, Josh Lawson, Kane, Larissa, Paul Bailey, Raul, Sai, the Zalby, Tawny, Zach H, Jessica at the $5 a mouthful tier. Seriously, thank you guys so much for supporting us. Thank you to the new ones that I named in there. Awesome of you to join. Thank you so much for being here. At the $3 a quick bite tier, we have Amber M. She's also a new patron. We have Chance. We have Fletch. Thank you guys so much. Every little bit helps. I promise you. And last at a tiny nibble $1 tier, Eric O, James, wherever you and your fleshlights are out there, and Justin Ruiz. Thank you guys so much for all that you do for us. Seriously, like even a $1 tier helps us out a ton. Like being able to put out content, like the more patrons that we have, the more content we're able to put out, and we're able to do stuff like this. So I know you're here, Jay. That's why I said I wanted to hear you sound off. But no, seriously, I just wanted to get your attention. No, in all seriousness, this is something I was kind of talking about privately with Morgan. I'm going to make the announcement right now. If we can get up to 40 patrons by next month, we will
have a pizza
our
party.
plan is to like start. Well, no. We're going to start having these little goals, and we will start releasing additional content because there's stuff that we want to do. Rich has been talking about wanting to do some stuff on the side. I won't name it. I'll let him make that announcement for himself. We're coming up with all these merch ideas.
I love
That's what you get for reading. No, there are merch ideas that we have in our Trello that we want to make a reality. All these things, and if we can get more patrons to help support us, that justifies us putting the time and money and effort into making those things a reality.
So steal your parents' credit card.
Sit here and like do a pledge drive. If we can get to 40 patrons by next month, I will make sure that we get a new merch idea out there other than the one that we're working on right now. So if we can get to 40 patrons by next month, we'll drop a new merch option. And anybody who is a patron who joins, we will make sure you get money off on that, like a 10% off or a 15% off on that. I just decided this now. Nobody else, actually the other 3 guys didn't know I was doing this. So if we can get a 40 patrons by next month, I'll make sure that happens. But anyways, thank you to each and every patron, seriously, for donating your hard-earned money. Seriously, because we are a listener-funded show here.
Much love.
We don't have advertisers. We don't have sponsorships. So it means the world to us. Seriously, thank you.
Today's episode is brought to you by Bigfoot Pizza. Bigfoot Pizza. Reggie Fils-Aimé came up with that. Did you know that? Isn't that weird?
I liked the Bigfoot pizza. I don't
Sure.
care what anyone says.
Sure
It was
is.
delicious.
Yeah.
I wasn't shitting on
Pizzas
it.
are supposed to be
You
rectangles.
thank Reggie
Everyone
for
knows
that.
That was when Little Caesars was a different thing, and they were delicious, and now they're crap.
Well,
They were different.
That's just, there's a lot of inaccuracies coming in here.
They used to have little tables in the pizza. They were made better. I'm telling you.
Okay, that's just a
Little
thing
Caesars-
that real pizzerias use so the box doesn't dip and ruin the cheese.
I'm telling you, Little Caesars was different. They were different.
Dude, that's
I'm built different.
look, those little table things, they don't have them in Japan. I ordered a pizza the other day, and it was just like smeared to the side of the box.
Really?
And I was kind of
haven't-
pissed at first.
Really?
Well, hold on. I was pissed at first, but then I felt really bad because the delivery driver had to deliver it in the pissing rain, but also somebody last weekend vomited a massive pile of yuck right in front of my apartment. And I told you guys about this. So right when I walk out of my apartment building, there's a pile of puke just sitting there, and it was actually permeating over last weekend into my apartment. I could smell it. I was so pissed. And so the delivery driver in the pissed rain had to deliver with that puke pile sitting right in front of my apartment.
Wow.
Glorious.
And I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna be mad. I'm not gonna be mad about this.
For sure.
Let the hate flow through
So-
you.
had to put on his waiters and trudge through the sec just to deliver your pizza.
I felt so. He had boots on, thank God. I felt so fucking bad though. I felt so bad. I was like, I ordered the pizza and I was like, wait, this motherfucker's gonna probably think I went out of my own apartment, just blew chunks all over, and then I was like, get this pizza here, motherfucker.
after you cleared your
Don't
stomach,
get-
you were like,
don't deliver.
you cleared your stomach and you were like, baby hungry.
All right. Well, that's
Yeah,
our
fucking.
first show. We'll get a little smoother as we go on, but overall, I think that
Or maybe worse.
really- we can only hope. We can only hope. So we'll see you hopefully next week. So thank you for joining us. If you did, everyone that was brave enough to stick around the whole show, and everyone who's checking this out on YouTube for the first time, I'll try to edit it down to where all the boring parts are cut out. And which is there's nothing.
Enjoy the
There's no-
15-minute
Yeah,
show.
please-
Yeah, enjoy that.
It'll just be me talking. Like a dick.
All right. Thank you guys for humoring us through this first live show. I'm gonna let you know, man.
yeah,
started
seriously, thank you.
I started that Hawkeye content. I will talk about it next week for sure.
All right.
Let's get the hell out of here, guys.
Okay, so we're gonna raid someone right now with our Twitch audience. Okay,
I have no idea how to do that.
Nah, we'll do that next time. Let's do it
that would be
because
crazy to have
we have
someone
another
raid us
podcast to do
in the
after this.
raid
Yes.
them in the middle of our podcast.
Let's get the hell out of here.
All right, so let's get out of here. I'm Morgan Barnes in Montana, and that's Shay Layton joining us from Japan, blowing kisses on the video. That's Rich Meister doing nothing on the camera, and that's Joshua Fowler saluting.
Whatever that is.
Hey, saluting is me. That's my thing. Gosh.
I've got to steal something.
This was some visual content. You should have jumped on
Oh,
it.
Red
and
Blue
gotten a
Blair
thing.
wants you to do your push-ups before we go.
I gotta do some edgelording, so let's get out of here.
Do you?
Send him a video. Do the right thing, Morgan.
You need to put that out into the world.
I got according to Rich, enjoying any sort of dark Zack Snyder content. is just
Enjoying it to the
edgelording.
degree you do. Let's get
No, that's being an edgelord. I know you got that right.
let's take a walk, boys. I need to decompress.
Let's get out of here
before
before Jack Snyder sues us.
So
Oh,
long.
watch
Good night.
out. Jack Snyder on the way. Bye.